Good morning. Welcome to our gathering today at First Unitarian Universalist Church of Stockton. We're glad you've joined us and hope you will find here what you are seeking. We are a community of individuals holding many different beliefs, coming from many different places, and each progressing on our own journeys of life and faith. We join together in our commitment to care for humanity and in our effort to shape a better, healthier, more accepting, more inclusive, more hopeful world. We promise to accept and encourage all those persons of goodwill who gather here, recognizing that we all continue to grow and learn throughout our lifetimes. We especially welcome and stand with LGBTQ plus persons, even as we seek to welcome all persons of every age, ability, status, color, and ethnicity. We strive to make our community a place of peace and acceptance, love and nurture, even as we challenge ourselves and others to live more faithfully according to the values of Unitarian Universalism. Our children's program is now led by Michaela, who is here, and we'll be taking the kids out. I think we have set to sing to them after we sing to them. We've got a couple of announcements. Come on up and share yours while I find the one that Mary wanted me to make.
I'm Sue Pixler, and I have been on the board of a nonprofit. How's that? Better. I have been involved with a nonprofit in Stockton for 13 years. I'm the president of the board of directors for the ACT Spay and Neuter Clinic. Has anyone ever heard of that? We provide low-cost spay and neutering for animals so that the overpopulation in the shelters is reduced. And we are having a fundraiser at my house in the Lodi countryside on May 21st. Jerry and I have tickets to sell. If somebody wanted to come and just volunteer, let us know. But it's May 21st, and it's just barbecue and a lot of local wines and raffle and auction. So if you're interested, please let us know. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And you should have gotten a flyer in your program that Mary wanted you to have. This is related to the National Family Promise Day of Giving, which is next week, Thursday the 28th. And when you go to the site, there'll be a page for our Family Promise of San Joaquin County, the affiliate, and you should click on that. Donations must be made sometime that day for us to receive the money. Any amount will be welcome since it will be designated for finishing renovations on our day center, shower, and laundry facilities. And any donations made before or after the 28th must come directly to our local website. Does that make sense with the flyer? Because I didn't look at the flyer yet. Okay, good. I think that's it. Any other announcements? Oh, Jerry was going to share something, and Rosemary has something too. Come on up.
Hi everybody, I'm Jerry Bigby, Chair of the Social Justice Committee, and just wanted to remind you today's the last day for the April plant sale. Don't miss it in Jackson Hall after the service. Thank you.
Rosemary?
I have one sentence.
Okay.
For May 15th to the 21st, we will have our families, our family promise family here. Hopefully there will be more. There has been one here. We are short a few twin bed blankets. So if any of you want to donate a blanket, I will be most grateful. If you have a blanket at home that you can clean up real good and loan to us, that would be all right too. But that would be the 15th, and just let me know after the service if that's a possibility. We don't want to.
Okay. Okay, that's twin bed blankets for Family Promise, and our first week of hosting a family is May 15th through 22nd. So get those blankets in, twin bed blankets if you've got them. Anything else? Okay, in that case, we'll let Judy share the prelude.
These are the words of Barbara Peskin. For the beauty of the earth, this spinning blue-green ball, yes. Gaia, mother of everything, we walk gently across your back to come together again in this place, to remember how we can live, to remember who we are, to create how we will be. And so Gaia, our home, the lap in which we live, welcome us. And now let's join together and read the chalice lighting words that are in the order of service. And we'll read them together in unison as Jerry Bigby comes up and lights our chalice. We light our chalice to remind ourselves of the challenge before us to save the earth. In this flame, we symbolize our commitment to do more to preserve and protect our planetary home. And now, let's open our hymnals to 163, our black hymnals, For the Earth. And please stand as you are willing and able. After we sing our hymn, we'll greet one another.
For the earth forever turning, for the skies for every sea, for our lives, for all we cherish, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the mountains, hills, and pastures in the silent majesty, for the stars, for all the heavens, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the sun, for rain and thunder, for the seasons harmony, for our lives, for all creation, sing we our joyful songs to thee. For the wood we
wonderful for all of us to get together again, and so we just have a lot to say to each other. We're going to do the words of affirmation now that are also in our order of service, and with the children, assisted by the children's parents, how's that, and families, do the children's part, or anybody who feels childlike, and I think a lot of us do. It's a good thing. And the adults will be who they are. Okay, kids, let's go. We believe in love.
Love is the only doctrine of this church.
We believe in truth.
The quest for truth is our sacrament,
We believe in helping others.
and service is our prayer.
We believe in the sacredness of life.
To dwell together in peace, seek knowledge and freedom, serve humanity in fellowship, and cherish the earth and its creatures. This do we covenant, each with the other.
And now,
Good morning, everybody. So, this amazing story, this book actually, The Last Straw, Kids vs. Plastic, was provided to us by our very own Cindy. It is a long book. I did look at it this morning. So what I'm going to do is read some of the really amazing poems that are in here. I think you guys will like them. So the first is Fantastic Plastic. Is plastic fantastic? No doubt about it. Where in the world would we be without it? Where in the world would hospitals be if medical tools weren't germ-free? How in the world would we safely play sports without proper gear on our fields and in our courts? What in the world would we want to eat if food wasn't fresh in the store down the street? Where in the world would technology be? Think smartphones, computers, see, plastic is key. Is plastic a blessing or is it a curse? It makes our lives better, but could they get worse? Something to think about. This one is called A Sea Change. Listen to the seagulls cry, watching whales who used to thrive in seas of cobalt blue. Those mighty mammals ruled the waves, a most majestic crew. Listen to the seagulls cry, watching whales who breached and died in seas of plastic strewn. Whales eat their fill of bags and cups and other human spew. Listen to the seagulls cry, watching whales who can't survive sink slowly out of view. Oh, wisest of the mammals, please, sea change is up to you. There's some really beautiful illustrations in here too, if anybody wanted to take a look after service. This one is called Plastic for Dinner. This is the fork that Jack threw away that floated downstream one gray, rainy day, that surfed into the ocean via the bay, that bobbed in the sun in a plastic ballet, that crashed in the waves and smashed in the spray, that broke into bits to never decay, that were caught and then sold on the fishmonger's tray, that predators ate from their deep-sea buffet, that fish swallowed up themselves yummy prey, that are cooked up with care. Jack loves fish fillet, that he eats with a new fork that he then throws away. There's that cycle. Ban the bag. Say no, no thank you, not today. No, not next week or any day. Plastic bags should be all banned. Tell your stores to take a stand. They're handy, sure, but at what cost? If plastic bags mean lives are lost. Bags float on air and snag the trees. They swirl on currents around the seas. Sea turtles spy a favorite dish, mistaking bags for jellyfish. They eat them up, they get their fill, and starve to death. Those bags can kill. Plastic never disappears, but breaks apart for years and years. Don't let plastic drag us down. Take your own tote bag to town. Cloth and canvas can't be beat. They make plastic obsolete. Tell your stores to take a stand. Plastic bags should all be banned. And this one in particular was mentioned by Cindy. It has to do with the recycling of the plastic, soft plastics to make benches, which is something that we currently are doing in the UU Church. Some bullies can often be cruel. Young Sammy knew that wasn't cool. She pulled out the stops to melt bottle tops for a buddy bench for her school. Now, kids who are lonely or shy can signal to those passing by. If you want to come play, please sit here today. A friendship begins saying hi. I think I'll do one more. Be straw-free. We owe our thanks to Milo Kress, a boy just 9 years old. He noticed straws used in excess. We owe our thanks to Milo Kress. His big idea is a huge success. Be straw-free is taking hold. We owe our thanks to Milo Kress, a boy just 9 years old. And there's plenty more poems and lessons in here that I will be sharing with the kids when we go out today. Thank you, guys.
Let's sing the kids out. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go. We give thanks for our Mother, the Earth, on this Earth Day weekend. We give thanks for all the animals and people and trees and plants of the earth. We send our good energy to those who are having surgery or dealing with recovery issues or having any struggles this week. We raise up our hopes that there will be continued progress toward making the earth more habitable again, cleaning up the air, the water, and the land. We give thanks for each other and for those who are working to make the earth healthier. For all this, we give our thanks this day. Amen. Invite us now to sing Spirit of Life. The words are printed in the program.
In our hymnals, please turn to the back, to the responsive reading section, number 465. The Wisdom to Survive. And I'll read the vertical font, and you would be responding with the italicized words. If we will have the wisdom to survive, to stand like slow-growing trees on a ruined place,
renewing, enriching it.
if we will make our seasons welcome here, asking not too much of earth or heaven,
Then a long time after we are dead, the lives our lives prepare will live here.
their houses strongly placed upon the valley's sides,
Fields and gardens, rich in the windows, the river will run clear, and we will never know it.
and over it birdsong like a canopy.
On the levels of the hills will be green meadows, stock bells in moonshade.
On the steeps where greed and ignorance cut down the old forest,
An old forest will stand, its rich leaf ball drifting on its roots.
the veins of forgotten springs will have opened. Families will be singing in the fields.
In their voices they will hear a music risen out of the ground.
They will take nothing from the ground, they will not return, whatever the grief at parting.
Memory, native to this valley, will spread over it like a grove, and memory will grow into legend, legend into song, song into sacrament.
The abundance of this place, the songs of its people and its birds, will be health and wisdom and indwelling light.
This is no paradiso dream. Its hardship is its possibility. And at this time, we share our gifts and offerings. We will continue to leave the plate in the middle, and anyone who would like to make a gift or offering to support the work of the church is encouraged to do so. You may also send pledges and contributions to the church office. There are several readings I considered for a second reading today, but this one keeps coming back into my thoughts as it has over the years. It's attributed to Chief Noah Silth or Seattle, depending on who pronounces it and who spells it. It's entitled, "We Belong to the Earth." This we know, the earth does not belong to us, we belong to the earth. This we know. All things are connected like the blood which unites one family. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons and daughters of the earth. We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. Earth Day 2022, Save the Earth. Earth Day is actually the 22nd, but I usually celebrate on the Sunday nearest, so today we are celebrating Earth Day. The official Earth Day theme this year is Invest in Our Planet. For the 52nd annual Earth Day, earthday.org has 52 ways to invest in our planet. As usual, there are lots of good ideas for things to do that will help. I'm sure you have all heard most of them before, but it is good for all of us to get timely reminders of the things that we can do to save the earth. Back around 1970, at the time of the Earth Day, I had no idea that things would still be so bad so many years later. I remember some pretty nasty, stinky smog back around then in the Chicago area. There was also a lot of junk in most of the waterways. In Scouts, I learned to leave a site cleaner than I found it when camping. My parents were pretty careful about not polluting things. As civil engineers who designed waste and water treatment plants, they knew what was in the water and where it was going. They also reminded us to turn lights off when we left a room. Though I certainly don't have a perfect record on the environment, I have been conscious of environmental issues as far back as I can remember. Though there are many ongoing efforts to save the earth, I like Earth Day as a time to take stock of the situation with the environment each spring. The increase in the cost of gas related to Putin's war has resulted in efforts to reopen wells and allow more drilling for oil and natural gas. The destruction of war always creates pollution, and this war is no exception. The Ukrainians may have to wait until Putin withdraws to attach a long cable to that ship they sank and pull it out with their tractors so they can recycle it. Oh, come on, you've seen those comics. The limits in the supply of oil has also brought about an effort to prolong the lifespans of nuclear power plants, which were scheduled to shut down in the next few years, and to consider construction of more. Whether new nuclear plants can be built and operate safely, and whether they can be built more quickly than windmill farms and solar arrays is an open question. As production of battery-powered cars, trucks, and even airplanes increases, there will be a need for even more electric power. There is room on the roof of the office wing for some solar panels. People and corporations have made changes to their behavior when forced to do so by law, by limited access, or by other factors of economics. But nobody seems to know with real certainty how bad things will get if we don't make enough changes to our polluting and resource-depleting behavior. There are lots of predictions, some of which have obviously been true because they're already affecting things in the intensification of storms and floods, droughts, fires, and desertification. But since many of these have only gradually gotten worse, it's been hard for many to accept the direct correlation to behavior and between behavior and greenhouse gases. Even so, there is a much greater acceptance of the truth of climate predictions now than even a few years ago. There are far fewer climate change deniers able to get anyone else's attention. And the number of electric vehicles now being produced by almost every car company and several new companies is a good indicator that corporations are taking climate change seriously now. One might ask if it is too little too late, but perhaps there will be enough of a change to at least begin dialing back the damage. During the Trump era, I had gotten very discouraged about climate change, as you may well remember. But under President Biden, there have been several more hopeful efforts, even against serious continuing opposition. Congressional gridlock, fueled by corporate sponsors, continues to exacerbate environmental and economic problems and may even get worse after midterm elections. But occasionally, there are signs of progress. The most important signs of progress are that people are becoming more aware and are actually buying and driving hybrids and electrics. There is so much more to do, but it feels to me as if there really has been some progress in the last several months. Even while I accept that things are going to continue to get worse for the next several years, the actions that we are taking now will help to turn things around eventually. We have to do much better at recycling and reusing. We have to drastically reduce the use of plastics, fossil fuels, and petrochemicals. We need to clean up waterways, put up windmills and solar panel arrays, and we need to plant trees. We need to demand from lawmakers that corporations be held to a higher level of responsibility for the environmental impact of the things they produce and how those things are packaged. Accountability solely to owners and shareholders at the bottom line is not nearly enough. Corporations need to be good civic partners in saving the earth. Churches can be a good example of making changes. The replacement of turf with low water use plants around the church really is a great example of changes that can and need to be made in regard to water and chemical use. I am really looking forward to seeing our new church yard as an example of what can be done to save water and help to save the earth. I have had solar panels on my house here in Stockton for several years, and I plan to install solar panels and a storage battery on my house in Tucson as soon as I can. I will have to see what other things I can do to save energy when I get there, but there isn't any grass to mow. It will take some effort to get used to gardening with cactuses and perhaps some succulents, but I don't think I will miss mowing much more than I miss shoveling snow in the winter. This will be my first experience really living in the desert, though I did spend a year long ago in a part of Wyoming that didn't get much rain or snow. At least Tucson is almost always a little cooler than Phoenix. The rain and snow that arrived this week here will not be enough to break the drought cycle, but it certainly will help to refill reservoirs and perhaps bring down the fire risk just a little. Also made a lot of skiers and ski resorts happy to be able to stay open or reopen. The overall trends on climate change are very clear, but the occurrences of storms and droughts are much harder to predict. In any case, the rains and snows were very welcome. In the long term, more sources of water, including desalination plants and more reservoirs, will be needed. A greater dependence on windmill farms and solar arrays can certainly help to meet clean power needs, hopefully in microgrids that pose less fire risks from those long stretches of high-tension lines. When all the fire risks and liability of centralized power companies like PG&E are figured in, they are just too expensive. Another positive trend that is coming from corporations working to achieve carbon neutrality or to become net zero is a commitment to plant trees to compensate for travel and other carbon-using practices. There's software being used to track travel, waste, water use, environmental expenses for meals, and other factors that would need to be offset to reach net zero. I'm not sure how many families would want to track things so extensively, but the opportunity to emphasize the environmental costs as a learning tool is really pretty amazing. If enough corporations and families would take on such responsibility, it really could make a difference. The direct impact of planting trees goes beyond the carbon exchanges being used to sell carbon credits, which may be helpful theoretically, but still allow too much carbon-based gas into the atmosphere. There will be fires and floods in years to come, and storms will continue to wreak havoc, and droughts will make life uncomfortable, if not unbearable. But if humanity can begin turning things around this year, the global temperature increases may be limited to a manageable level, and someday things may get better again. Future generations are completely dependent on what we can accomplish now to turn things around. If we fail to turn things around, the earth may not be able to sustain future generations of humans and other large mammals. The earth given to us and to previous generations as a garden may become barren desert, unable to sustain the life that has for millennia flourished. The full weight of responsibility for life on earth rests upon the generations now alive. Whatever else we each may accomplish in our lives, we must turn things around to begin reversing the impacts of climate change. Many of us have been engaged 50 or more years in the effort to save our Mother Earth, but we cannot rest on our laurels. We must continue to work for a healthy and just world. So this Earth Day, we do need to invest in our planet and work to save the Earth for all the life that exists here. What we do matters greatly. So turn those gas guzzlers in on electrics, or at least hybrids. Turn off those unneeded lights. Keep the thermostat as high as you can in the summer and as low as you can in the winter. Plant trees and windmills. Set up a solar array. Limit the energy and especially the fossil fuels you use. If you have to use plastic, please recycle. Whether the world is at war or at peace, the struggle for the health of the earth continues. Wars damage the air, water, and land, and often result in a need to use precious resources to replace all the homes and schools and other buildings that are destroyed. Times of peace also use precious resources and leave pollution as discretionary income and spending rises in wealthier nations. All too often, if they make stuff, people will buy it. We all have more stuff than we need. As I try to sort through things, I have more stuff than I know what to do with, and I'm having a hard time sorting through it. And of course, we just had to succeed in raising kids who aren't sentimental about stuff, no matter what history it carries. Especially my daughters. So have a happy Earth Day weekend. Walk, run, or ride your bike. Do some gardening. Take a hike in a nearby park. After dark, look up and watch the stars. Remember that the earth needs our help to get healthy again, and we all need the earth. As it has always been, so may it ever be. We are guardians of the earth, our mother and home. Shalom, salam, blessed be, namaste, and amen.
Far
into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, and the great winds urging me on. Read the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. May this congregation always be dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences, beneath all our diversity, there's a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together, in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We pause in silent witness to that unity. May the stars carry your sadness away. May the flowers fill your heart with beauty. May hope forever wipe away your tears. And above all, may love make you strong. Go out and spread hope and peace and build a better world. Go out and save the earth. Amen.